That Bay Area. What's up, Richmond, CA? There's some real stuff right here.
Add on coming down here.
It's Aji, man.
Once upon a time.
Add on.
I knew how to rhyme.
Keep your at home. Me on. Or me want to own. Me on type of flow.
That's all I got to say.
Me on.
All right.
Or me want to own. Me on type of flow.
Welcome back to another episode of the Add-On Podcast.
Add-On Podcast.
Got a special guest, Lang Sanasay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How you feel to be on, man?
Oh, man, I'm good. Yeah. So, Lang Sanasay from Honolulu, Hawaii. This is the Add-On Podcast.
Yes, sir. So talk to us first a little bit about your upbringing, how that was growing up for you.
Growing up was very trial and error with everything. I would say that I had it both ways, because growing up in the central area, we just had to dog eat dog style out there, fight to survive, and upbringing was great. I found a good set of friends, and now here I am doing amazing things with interesting topics and everything else, and just sitting down and being cool.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Cool, yeah.
So was it like any major struggles like growing up, you know what I'm saying? With like
absolutely.
Financially, bullying?
All of that. So anything from being called what it is, because now, I'm a yellow person, you know what I mean? So of course, I didn't have much to work with out there. I usually worked with brothers. I worked with the essays. I didn't work with my own. My own people didn't accept me, unfortunately, in that area of where I grew
That's
up.
the problem in the world today.
That I'm not accepted. No, I really am not.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, now I find a better group of friends, and now here I am doing a lot better.
Yes, sir, for sure, man. So after graduation, first, what year did you graduate?
2013.
2013, for sure. So after graduation, what was the most important thing for you? Was it bettering yourself? Was it finding a career job? Was just basically after graduation, what was your kind of focal point?
Bettering myself, and
yes,
focusing
sir.
on who I want to be. And it didn't matter if I had a job or how much money I was going to make after, because I didn't worry about that. I was worrying about, am I going to survive? Am I going to be somebody out there? And then,
yes,
of course, now here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that for sure, man. I think for me, my biggest thing was obviously, trying to. I felt like I needed to go to the traditional route with basketball, like going to college and stuff like that. But after, basically a semester,
absolutely,
I just kind of nah, I'm cool. And now I'm focusing full time on my podcast.
Have your decisions. You
yes,
made
sir.
A decision, right?
Made a strategic decision for me. Yes,
absolutely.
sir, man, for sure. Let's transition to just kind of fashion, clothes, stuff like that. You seem pretty, animated yourself.
Yeah, so I really like, I like to wear a lot more darker. Once in a blue moon, I love the blues and the red mixtures. I like a lot of white. I actually really like a lot of white and gray mixes there.
Yes, sir.
Only because it just gives
so
you
more
more
darker color or brighter?
A little brighter, in the middle sometimes. In the middle, the cobalt or metallic look, and it's always something to do. It shines a lot. When somebody looks at somebody in a white suit, it's we want to pay attention to this guy because he has a white suit on. Okay, but then if I came to somewhere with all black, it's usually okay, he just dresses that way. You're just gonna, he just dresses that way, and the only thing you see is a print.
I was gonna ask you too. Hey, what's your favorite, clothing? Shoe brand?
Oh, okay.
For both.
I really like old brands of skates, so Lakai Audio, a little bit of Vans here and there. But I've been getting into a lot of Nike SB because they do a lot of collaborations with.
Yes, sir. Can't go wrong with Nike.
Yeah, of course. And then they do a lot of collaborations with anime. So they do. Gundam was a good one. Game of Thrones was one. I think they might, have a big. I don't know if it was Reebok or if it was Nike, but they did eventually do a collaboration on that one. And they make it look really nice.
Yes, sir, for sure. So that's your favorite shoe brand?
Of course. If I were to own them, I would own them. But right now, it's.
He said, "If I could own them, I could own them."
Yeah, if I could own them, I could own them. But then right now, that's not the situation.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Yes.
Man. How has fashion evolved, over the past two decades in your opinion? Because even just with me in basketball, because you remember, AI with the baggy shirt, the baggy pants. I kind of of like that
I
too.
like that.
Now it's just, you got Russell Westbrook wearing dresses. You know what I'm saying? So like, how's fashion evolved over the past kind of 2 years?
Okay, my take on fashion, I think it's gotten a little more south, a little more cheaper, a little more, at least they're exploring the other side. How, like you said, dresses. Like, when are you going to see a man in a dress around the AI period?
Yeah, that's kind of a red flag.
That's kind of a red flag. Like, so basically, we don't want to look like Shanae now. We don't want to do that.
No,
we're not doing Shanae, but they do. But then again, it's just like, okay, but Uzi could walk around with a skirt and a purse.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't like it when Westbrook wears a dress. But then again, Westbrook is probably more paid than Uzi.
Yeah, and Uzi, he got his own issues.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the dude that got the diamond too?
Yeah.
Was that him too?
That was him. That's Uzi. Yeah, that's
I don't really
him.
listen to his music, so
No,
you do whatever you want. It's just
correct.
like, if I see something that's just like, nah, it's just,
Yeah,
it don't look right,
Right, but then let's reel it back a little bit. When you say evolved, I think with men we were kind of boxed in with what we want to wear. Like a lot of men would go out and wear polos every day, but now men are wearing sweat, like no sleeves, no, you know what I mean. And then they came out with rompers for men like 3 years ago.
Rompers for men.
Rompers for men, right?
What is
3
that?
years ago.
Rompers.
Rompers, so it's
I
kind
know
of
I've
like
heard
a
of it.
one piece, kind
Oh.
of like cuts off right here.
Is it kind of like a
Kind of like a bathing suit almost. It's kind of,
what's that called?
It's
I forgot.
like this.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Like,
Yeah.
they came out with rompers for men. And then what was that football player that did Uggs for men?
Uggs for men.
Uggs for men, was it that football player? I can't remember.
Was he famous?
Yeah, correct us if you can. He played for the Colts.
Colts.
He played
Football
for
player
the
played for the Colts.
Colts.
Yeah, he couldn't have been
It was
Peyton
a
Manning.
Manning. It
wasn't Manning.
not Eli Manning. No, it was Eli. No.
No, Peyton Manning played for the Colts. He used to play for him.
Yeah, but he did.
Reggie Wayne, maybe?
Jessica Simpson's boyfriend.
Jessica Simpson played for the
Girl,
Colts.
Jessica Simpson.
Man, I don't know.
Right.
Uggs.
Right.
That's something.
But-
I'm gonna have to look it up though.
Yeah, so they make Uggs for men now, and then now it's like, we're kind of reeling back. We're kind of what's that thing called? Being hypocritical, because now I see a lot of men wearing Crocs. Crocs? Crocs?
That's one thing I think Crocs are dope, in my opinion.
Okay. But then
You wouldn't wear
when
Crocs?
I was growing up, Crocs were. That was a red flag.
It was a red flag?
It was a red flag for men. This was like way back in 2005, 2006.
Oh, okay.
And
I actually would buy Crocs.
Right.
That's one thing.
But like I said before, the question was, how it's evolved. This is my, the 2 decades.
Yeah, I see exactly
Yeah,
what
the
you're
2
saying.
decades.
It's, hey, man,
That's 2002 and prior up right now. You know what I mean?
man.
So,
for sure, man.
yeah, in a big sense, it's like, okay, we're kind of going out of the box now, which is fine, totally fine.
Yeah.
That's how we're going out of the box right now. Another thing is, with jewelry, like a lot of jewelry, like guys are getting like
Grills,
yeah,
chains and stuff like that.
It's coming back though. Grills and chains is coming back.
I'm
Because
like, that's for forever,
Yeah, but I mean,
Just-
when Paul Wall and Chameleonaire were doing it, it was a different story. Where
Hey.
they were doing it, like you had to have the money for that.
For
You
sure.
had to have the money.
Okay, for
Now
sure.
it's like, okay, if you know somebody, you know somebody, and then
Yeah, man. Talk about your tattoos,
okay, for sure.
and just kind of like, what's your favorite? What kind of inspired you to start doing tattoos, stuff like that?
My favorite tattoo style is, of course, the anime stuff.
Yes, I see y'all yadded up.
Yeah. I like fine line neo traditional because it gives you a better idea of what people can do with their imaginary creativity. And it could be big, it could be small. My least favorite would be kind of like micro portraits or anything micro, because when somebody gets something real small, they'll tell you a big story about how the tattoo doesn't hurt. Like when
if you gonna get a portrait of somebody, let that thing be.
Big.
I don't know if you've seen Lonzo Ball's tattoos, like all his like
Is
Malcolm
that
X,
LK one?
yeah,
Is
all that
LK
stuff
one?
is dope.
Right, like portrait stuff, you
Yeah.
could say that thing hurts because it's huge. It's really big. But going back to my favorite, if I were to narrow it down, it would be my first one, which is my cloud stripe tattoo. If you could probably get that in there, or you could follow me on Instagram, and then you could see it there.
Yes, sir.
So that this was, of course, my first tattoo. I was very I wasn't nervous, but I was very questionable of how it's gonna be. Like, is the line work gonna hurt more, or is the shading gonna hurt more?
And what actually hurt it more?
They were both equally painful, but
Really?
if I were to narrow it down, it would be the lining that hurt more for me because it's a needle that's more focused in on going in one direction than it is going in a circle. I mean, it might not make sense that I say it now, but I mean, it is my arm. You know, everyone has a different pain tolerance. You know? There's a lot more meat on these bones than it is to somebody who only weighs like 150 soaking wet.
Yes, sir.
You know, and then of course they might think everything hurts because the needle is just in there so many times.
Yes, sir, man.
You know?
I was thinking about getting a tattoo. You know.
Of course.
I backed
but
out.
You know what?
Not because of like the pain level or anything. It's just because religious purposes.
Untradition. I mean,
and also just it's gonna be forever. So whatever I get, you know what I mean. I'm trying to like have a meaning to it.
Of course, and everybody wants to make that a very good point. And I think that after you're done with your meaningful tattoos, then that means you could move on to your goofy ones, like doing your little or getting your face done. I get it because you have a job. You're gonna have a job, and you're gonna have And then that too, a lot of 8 out of 8 was like maybe 7 out of 10 times. I've heard a lot of job stopper tattoos being job stoppers, but then it's like, okay.
Jobs, you mean like, okay, it's like this, if you had this, you can't work for us or something?
Yes, I've heard that plenty of times. Like, I understand facial tattoos.
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of.
I understand that. And then, of course, but what I don't understand is something like on your chest. Because sometimes, a lot of people get their necks done and kind of bleeds up here. And then they think like, oh, okay, I think the rest of his body is done, this, and that. Same thing would go for piercings. I mean, I've had that struggle a little bit, but I've always been asked if I could remove it, and I've obliged every time. And it wasn't a big deal. No, it really wasn't a big deal to me.
Yes, sir, for sure, man.
Absolutely, because it does come out, and then you can get your piercings redone, and you can get your tattoos covered up. So keep that in mind.
Transition.
Keep that in mind.
For sure, man. Let's transition to video games.
Okay.
Stuff like that, man. Give me your top 5 video games ever.
Very fun, very fun, very fun.
And I gotta ask you this question.
Yes.
I hope it's the right one.
Okay.
Xbox or PlayStation?
I started with PlayStation,
Yes,
but
sir.
I grew up with Xbox. But as far as my 27-year-old self goes, I'm gonna have to go with Xbox because that's
man.
But
PlayStation.
The heart is in PlayStation.
I feel
the heart is in PlayStation. I understand. Moving back towards the 5 video games, of course, number 5 I would put the Final Fantasy series. Because when I have a lot of free time,
I have no idea what that is, but I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I don't play video games.
I have a lot. When you have a lot of free time and you actually want to read a story or whatnot, that's the games for you. And of course, it mixes a lot of action here and there.
True.
And of course, my number 4. Let's see. I would probably put any kind of Ninja Gaiden ones. Those were so much fun. So much fun to play, and it's right in the heart where, if you want to just keep mashing a button to kill a person, that's about it. Because, of course, you can't do it in real life, so you can always do it in a video game.
True, but that's a lot of that, games influence people.
Right.
You got, look at all these school shooters and stuff like that. Not to get political, but a lot of them probably play games, a lot of games like that.
But then again, have you heard in the Middle East, they practice shooting on Halo?
No, I know the game Halo.
Halo, right? They play Halo to practice. Bang, 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 bang.
That's wild.
That's crazy, right? But then it's like it's Halo. Like you're shooting at aliens. Like
true. It's not real life.
Yeah. Okay. And then of course my number 3. I'm sorry. My number 3 would be Gears of War, only because that was my introduction to Xbox Live and anything online multiplayer. So of course, we got pretty nitty gritty. I understand it's a nitty gritty game, but it was cool for the time being. Being super young and finally getting your Xbox and finally playing a game on there that satisfies you. It was one of them. And of course, number 2, I would probably put the Tekken series up there, only because that was another big introduction to the culture in the East and in the Far East, because they had Japanese influence, they had martial arts, they even had kind of a capoeira influence in there, which introduced the Brazilian culture. A lot of people were actually interested in that fighting style after that game came out.
Yeah.
Which was great. It made a cultural impact on a lot of people, because some people could sit there and play that game all day. or burn quarters in the arcade. And then, so of course, my number one would be the Marvel vs. Capcom series. One thing is, yes, it does entertain. It is infuriating, but if you just keep pressing those
That's an
buttons-
interesting list, because all the games I grew up playing, you never named not one of them. And you probably know what I'm
I
saying.
mean, I understand if you want to say Call of Duty or any kind
Yeah,
of
like
2K.
Call of Duty, 2K, Madden,
right.
GTA.
Yeah.
Like, ain't no way GTA not can't be in there.
I mean, but if the list was longer, by all means, it would be
Yeah.
there.
That's- yeah,
If
it's
the
your-
list
it's
was
your
longer,
personal top five, yeah.
I mean, because it's 5. It's like 5 has to be supreme, where 10 is like you could kind of flow around with 7 and 8.
I used to not even do the missions on GTA, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
I just walk up, people shoot them, and then run for the police.
Because you can't do that
in real life. Yeah,
You can't do that in real life. That's why video games is amazing.
It's cool. Yeah, it's just how you look at it. Yeah.
It really
Even
really-
Resident Evil.
Oh, of course.
My dad, like probably like
Yeah.
5, 6 years ago,
course.
he told us to stop playing with it because it was too devilish. You know how you shoot them and then like them swirly things come out. I think it was Resident Evil 4.
4, right? The one that's like
Yeah, because it was demonic
Demonic
stuff.
stuff.
But it is like I say, some of the stuff you
just
won't
can't
experience
do.
in real
Like,
life.
Right. Since when are you gonna go rescue the president's daughter?
No.
And then go to a village and then rescue her some more, you know what I mean? That's the thing. Which is that's pretty nutty to me, if you honestly ask me. That's pretty nutty.
Yeah.
To be really honest, that's pretty nutty. Okay. But anywho, yeah, that's the list right there, only because like I can't go too far back, because I was born in 95. There's not a whole lot after 95. But the impact
So
of
you grew
PlayStation
grew up on that.
on it, right? Because my mom would love to take us out to the arcades a whole lot. I'm sorry, I'm focusing on you and not the camera, but but majority of the time,
Hey, you said you could with the camera.
But yeah, I mean, all the podcasts are already looking at the camera anyway. But,
Yes, sir. I feel like
yeah, like we used to burn quarters. We used to be cool. It was the Orleans Hotel. This is when the Orleans Hotel was on and popping. Like the whole arcade. Was cool.
I used to only time I ever played video games in the laundromat.
Right.
You know, because
that's cool, but
that's
it's
the only
still
time.
cool because they had nice machines. They had
They
nice
did have pretty
machines.
nice machines for sure.
Right, they did. They had, the Marvels, they had the Bombermans, they had the Pac-Mans, it impacted somewhere, right?
Right,
So
for
that's
sure.
the thing,
So yeah, I went over to Town Square the other day with my
Yes.
homeboys,
Yes, sir.
and then I seen Pop Movie Toys. I know you like them, and it's like we went in like 10 different stores, just like scoping the area, just like window shopping,
Right.
and we seen like those Pop Movie Toys in like 3 of the different stores. They weren't even like we were regular clothes stores. So what's so popular about Pop Movie Toys, and why do you
Pop
collect so
movie
many?
toys, okay. So my start was because I was very. It was in the middle of the pandemic. We just started the pandemic.
So 2020, you kind of started.
Yeah, and of course now we're into 2022 of August, right? Timestamp. What I did was like try not to get into it, but then when I was looking into it, they're so cool. They amaze me, kind of like it just reminded me of what I can do and see where my investments go. I'm not looking at my pops as investments, just for the record,
Get
but
that out of the
I
way.
am looking at my pops as my personal collection because it reminds me of such a different time. 2020 was different for everybody. For you, me, you went to school online, did you?
Yeah, that was
And
2020. Yeah,
2020, you did go to school online, and that was your graduation year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, 2021 my graduation. 2020 it was just I went online. I think this the second half, I believe,
half,
and then
okay.
2021 was the full year.
The full year at school.
It sucked,
It did.
Everything.
It
My
really
my senior
did.
season got canceled.
Right.
It was.
His practices, you know
You
what I
know.
mean? So it reminds me of
was
such
rough.
a great time. My brother was the one to uplift me and say, hey, look what I got. Hey, look what I got. And I was just like, man, these are cool. So I looked into some more. And there was a lot of characters that I liked, like starting with the Dragon Ball Zs and the Narutos.
Oh.
And then of course, like I got into kind of like right recently. I did buy the Kill Bill pop, which was great. It was Gogo Yubari. Some of you guys would know. Some of the baseball Furies from the Warriors. That's one of my favorites of all time because my dad, of course, put me on that part of the collection.
Right.
A lot of other oddities like Fire Force was good. Fire Force was a good collection. Astro Boy, old school Astro Boy. Old school. He's doing his thing. You know what I mean? Like Superman. He's kind of like the the yellow Superman.
I feel it.
Like he's what that is. But he's a real mech. He's an OG for the record. He's older than half everybody probably in the standing place, because his anime goes back to black and white. But then of course, as far as the collection was going, it just got it didn't feel like it felt good to actually have it with me, you know what I mean? But then of course, like, I had envious times. I had some gluttonous times about it, because it's just like, I want it. But then of course, there's always a time and place for everything, so I did stop myself a few times. Yes, okay. But I'm very proud of my collection right now.
That's what's up, man. Y'all tap in for sure. Let's transition to kind of like Lang's life plan, man. What's your career goal? Kind of what you kind of striving for right now? What do you want? What do you see yourself? I know people. This question gets just so like broad or whatever, but kind of where do you see yourself within the next 5 to 10 years? And what's your ultimate career goal in life?
Not materialistic. To start it off, not materialistic.
I respect that for sure.
Not materialistic. All I want to do is be heard. That's all I want to do is be heard. I want to be cool. I want to be heard. I don't want to have a trillion billion followers and then have you guys do things that you guys don't want to do and not have me listen. I want to listen.
Right.
I want to be the listener. I want to be the person that's with you, making it right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to be that person. I'm gonna cuss. I want to be that person that tells you when your shit stinks when it does. I want to be that person. That's
respect, man, for sure.
And I don't care where I am in 10 years. I really don't, because it's just like, you make the best of it, right?
Yes, sir.
We made the best of this pandemic. Like, you got a podcast out of it.
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. So, that's all it is.
Yes, sir.
I'm not worried about the 10 years. I'm really not.
That's what's up, man, for sure. Let's transition to, like, guys, you know what I'm saying? In general, just the world and stuff like, should they worry about, that goes on what you're just saying. Yeah. Should they worry about, because so many rappers and just people, influencers, they always worried about, flashing their money.
Yes.
YouTubers, they're so just ridiculous, man. But just should guys worry about their status and their money when trying to get, like, a girlfriend or a wife or whatever like that?
Correct.
Or should it be more so just like, okay, they know who they are as a person? Because if all you bringing is just money to the equation, because a lot of these girls too, they want. I don't know if you watch these gold digger pranks.
Yeah,
it's so funny. Yeah. They be like, man, what you like? They want everybody to want their money.
Yeah.
But what you bringing to the table? Because if it's just sex, you can get that from anybody in the world.
Right.
So just kind of touch upon that.
Okay. Let's see, about as far as like themselves, like every guy I see around here is king, bro. Like, you made it this far and you're old enough to hold yourself up already. But then there's always gonna be that person that would say they would do the same, like girls. I'm not saying all the girls, but girls.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all the girls, but girls. They would say that they would keep up with you, this, and that. But sometimes you don't really know somebody until you know somebody. It's not always, oh, she's this hot girl. Right. That's all she could be known for. But then when she gets home, what is she after that? What is she after that? That's something that both of us won't know. Nobody would know until you
get to know them. What I'm saying? On a deeper level, yeah.
But then I'm not trying to be real funny, but But if anything, that's why divorces are there for. You know what I mean? That's a different story. But of course, me and you growing up out here, that's always the situation. We don't know a girl until we know them.
Yeah, and we live in Las Vegas.
We live in Las Vegas.
You know what they say. The city is sin.
Right. So then
happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas.
Right. Because I've watched people destroy themselves because of girls. I've seen girls coming back to the same abuse because of guys. We're not all safe here. Come on, dog. No.
Absolutely not.
We're not all safe. So that's the thing too. We're not all safe. We're not all safe. In the city of Las Vegas, we're not all safe. No way.
For sure.
Ain't no way.
So what's your obviously this is the add-on podcast.
Yes, sir.
What's your add-on to life, to the youth, to just what's your add-on, man?
Oh, of course. Okay, so if we first dissect that question a little bit better, add-on to life. Collect anything, invest into, I'm not saying stocks, but invest into like your cooking skills, your people skills, your manner skills, your driving skills. Travis, no,
I
I'm
need-
not pointing that at you, but
He is. He knew I felt my chest. It's cool.
but
It's
then
cool.
in the city of Las Vegas, there's a lot of crazy people that drive, and there's
Most
California drivers, there's Utah drivers, and
Got all
they
these
get down.
tourists coming in, acting
coming
crazy,
in.
drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
Apply your skills. I'm not saying okay, go ahead and go get a book. I'm just saying, just do it more. Like, if you like cooking, keep cooking. If you like playing video games, keep playing video games. If we like doing these podcasts, we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll keep doing it because you know why?
sure.
It applies to us that it makes us happy.
Mm-hmm.
It benefits us in the long run. And then, of course, you already have your followers that you're catering to. I'm sure they're waiting on another episode, right?
Yes, sir. I just saw my homeboy the other day. He's like, me and the boys want to hop on. I'm like, hey, let me know.
And there it is.
I'm getting
But
people
then,
hitting me up, stuff like
there's
that.
a waiting list for everybody.
Yes,
and as far as the youth goes,
Mm-hmm.
Keep reading. Read up on things. Just keep reading up on things. And if you have to self-educate yourself,
Not to cut you off, but me myself, I fall victim of this. Not a lot of kids go outside no more, like you used to probably back in the day. They all on their phones. Nobody reads books anymore.
Right.
They just do everything online. The internet is it's
But,
changing.
I mean, that goes into what I was gonna say. Like, if you are on your phone a whole lot, and if you are on the internet a whole lot, just please, look up like who Alexander the Great is. It's only gonna take you like 5 minutes to learn about Alexander the Great, or who Isaac Newton might be, or or the rules of basketball. You can look that up, right? You can look up on the rules of basketball.
For sure, man.
So or like the rules of writing a book, or the rules of they might teach you a lot better on the internet than they do at school. But that's just my honesty, because when I got a chance, I always looked up like how to write a paragraph, how to express it. I wasn't born with a thesaurus in my hand, but nobody was. So of course, I like how we're doing this podcast without any of us stuttering at all, because we know what to say. And that just means a lot about me and you. We know what we're saying. We're not
man.
and but then he did this like this, and we're not doing that. We're actually not using our fillers, and if you could apply that.
For sure, man.
It would help for the youth too, because what if you do become a reporter? You can't, and the weather looks like but then the bird flew across the street. So I'm just glad that we are finally on the same page.
Absolutely,
Yes,
man, for
absolutely.
sure. So yeah, go ahead and shout yourself out. We're finna wrap up.
Okay.
Shout out your Instagram,
Okay.
any businesses you got going on, anything like that. You wanna shout
Yeah,
out?
so I am I think did I change it? Yes, so then it's at pariah_470 on Snapchat. That's one good way to reach me. And I am at bro_Ashley's__here on Instagram. And of course, you can see all of my art. And of course, shout out to my tattoo artist, msketch.ink.
Yes, sir. Tap in, yo.
Yeah, so if you're local and you're looking to get stuff done, by all means, she will help you out with that. I'm probably going to have to put that on the clips, but
Right.
And then, of course, shout out to, of course, Emmanuel on here on having me on the podcast. And then, of course, having this face on there. And then, of course,
Appreciate you being on,
Of course, taking care of his people,
Yes, sir,
taking
man.
care of it.
That's a wrap, y'all.
Of course.
Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that.
All that.
Go ahead and hit my DM on Instagram or anything like that.
Anybody's
If you want to be a guest on a podcast as well, love to talk to you, stuff like that. I have another channel as well, Emmanuel R&D. That will be in the description down below. And other than that, I'll see you guys next episode.
12th episode gone.